Hi, it's full moon in Libra today, and actually wasn't gonna record this, but I really got to, so I'm going to. And Libra is my sign, and it's also all about harmony and beauty and relationships and love. And the question that was asked was, why does expanding into love often come with pain? Is it healthy or not healthy to lose yourself in love? So it's a really, really beautiful, heartfelt question. I can feel what you've been through when I feel this question of like, you clearly have wanted to give yourself over in love, and clearly that's come with a lot of pain. So let's go in and find out what wants to be shared, and I'm sure there's going to be something for all of us here. I very much look forward to it, because I felt this too my whole life. So thank you for asking, and I'm grateful for the answers we're both going to get here. Okay. What I'm feeling and seeing is a lot of grandmothers swimming around. I see my grandmothers, your grandmother. There's been a lot of grandmothers coming in through the sessions lately. The wise feminine on the other side, here to share what they know, how it all works. And coming from decades ago, they had very different context for their exploration of love. And yet we think we're liberated, but we're not. We think we're free, and love is finally free and unencumbered, but it isn't. We think we're allowed to choose who we want to be with like never before, but we're not. We think we won't be dominated in commitment, but we will. We think we've transcended these restrictions on the feminine, and we haven't. Yeah, they want to speak directly to you now for your circumstances. I'm sure we're all going to benefit, so thanks again. You come from a culture where it's very normalized to be in service of men more than most cultures. And you were very aware of that, and you grew up multiculturally, so you stepped away from that and knew that you were going to do it differently, and that would never happen to you. And they just want to say that so many women feel this. They're like, I'm never, I'm beyond that. I'm a feminist. I'm not going to be like my parents were. I'm not going to be how my grandparents were. And they're just saying, like, 90% of women that are saying that are dealing with it, and they don't even know it. They're dealing with domination and suppression and expectations that limit their spirit and their expression and their freedom more than they know. So yours just happens to be a cultural stance. Like, your culture acts this way, so you're going to do the opposite. Other people are like, my parents were this way, so I'm going to do the opposite. Or you know, that generation was this way, so I'm going to do the opposite. But yours happens to be specifically cultural. And because of that, you welcome love with abandon, because you are free. The flooding of the love that you want to give, the overflow that you want to go to, what you want to gift, comes so naturally to you. And you are like, I'm free to do that, so I'm going to. So that I'm free, so I'm going to takes away all discernment that would help you not just follow that. So if you feel it, you go with it because you're allowed, you're free. Where they're definitely not saying the imprisonment of women before that had them marry for property and you know, all these other contrived reasons. There's this middle ground where this feeling is just the beginning, and then there's a whole journey of discernment between having that feeling and knowing that someone is safe to go over the waterfall with. So yes, you're totally right to want to go all in love, absolutely. To do so with discernment is not lack of freedom. To do so with discernment is the true freedom, is the message. So you follow the energy and feel like that's enough, and you're so happy that you're unfettered and you're allowed to do that without being imprisoned with that person, as in locked into a marriage or being with someone that you have to be with that you don't feel that for. You're like, if I feel this and I'm free, then I follow it. That's what you do. That's what love is. And then, you know, if I get pain, well, that's me. I've got to work on what's coming up for me. Well, if it hurts, something's wrong with me. I've got to work on that. If there's, you know, nothing wrong that I can see, then something's wrong with me, and I need to work on intimacy. I need to work on my old wounds. I don't want to bring them into this. I just hear all of these things, and none of that translates to, this doesn't feel good, maybe something's off with this. This doesn't feel good, maybe this doesn't actually work for me. And it's so hidden. But they're basically giving three main pieces of advice. When something doesn't feel right, and you're feeling that pain, as you try to go further, in your specific case, it is always a signal that something is off with the situation. It is not your past wounding. It is not you're not being ready for intimacy. It's not, oh, this always happens and it's my plight to work through it. It's that something's actually off with the intimacy. And that's the first thing. So in your specific case, every time it doesn't feel right, there's something off with the intimacy, and don't turn it on yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when something feels off, the only way to find out what's happening is to talk to the person and ask lots of questions. And you need to specifically ask about the subtle things that you've been okay with, but they're actually, if you just go looking for unrest, go looking for it. This is what's coming through, so I'm sharing it, but it just sounds so counter to so much I hear, but we'll just keep going with it. So some examples of looking for unrest was like that little edge you felt in the car yesterday when they slammed the phone down because they were frustrated with the salesperson. When they were really, really late and didn't say anything about it. All the little things that you just go, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, they were tired. They were, you know, the last guy was so much worse than that. This guy is so much better than that. But he has these sweet things. But he did that for me nice all day. It's okay that he's a little grumpy in the car. Those subtle things, if they're hurting your heart, aren't subtle. So you're not just going to nitpick and find anything for no reason. Your heart, the pain, is actually telling you that there's something real to look at. And the way to look at it is to, obviously it's in a blind spot or in a subtle place because it's not obvious. Otherwise you'd be knowing exactly why your heart hurts. But if you are in pain, your body is telling you something's off and you need to go, you know, when we were driving and you were a little bit grumpy yesterday, can you just walk me through like exactly what you were thinking and feeling? What was happening? And they might go, it was nothing. And you can be like, it, for some reason, it really hurts my heart when I feel that moment. And I just need to know what was really going on. And interestingly, like, I have seen this guidance before, and it does open a can of worms when it hurts the heart. If it doesn't hurt the heart, it's just like, oh, it's just it's not relevant. But the heart's saying it's relevant because it hurts. And your system wouldn't be registering pain if there wasn't actually something causing pain. So it's about asking those little things. And it does unravel a can of worms. People have said, what were you feeling then? And they just assumed, like, you know, they just were worried about being late. They've said things like, I was furious with you. You're like, you're furious with me? Well, yeah, because you always make us late. What is that? I never knew this. You've never talked to me about it. And you realize that they've been having daggers at you energetically for a long time that you didn't even know were there, and your body's registering it. And then you can actually deal with it. You'd be like, okay, we really need to solve this because I'm taking this on as an energetic pain. And we need to not have that happen. So I'd like to also get to the root of why it makes you so angry and why you've never talked about it. And then that unraveled the whole thing about childhood, and that unraveled them even going to therapy. There's stuff there. And if it's hurting you, it's hurting you. And that means there is something to look into. So there's one more thing they want to share, that I'm just getting that you are innocent, and that often there's a thing of you're not innocent. You've done something. You must be bringing up old stuff. You're so wounded. You've had so many wounds. You've had so much attack on you that it's got to be you. You in particular, I'm getting, are very innocent and very pure. And that when the masculine evokes this pain in you, there's been a lifetime of it's your fault and you must be doing something wrong and you must be, because it's happened so much. But the reason it's happened so much is because you are pure and innocent. And that's a really attractive dumping ground for the masculine that doesn't want to deal with itself. So yes, it's been happening for a long time, but it's because you've been with masculine that don't want to deal with themselves. And the only change you need to make is to be with masculine that does want to deal with themselves. And if you can't ask about those small things and it turn into a beautiful awakening, yeah, maybe there's unrest, maybe it's frustrating. I'm not saying it's just like this, but this is one thing I've gotten from the angels over and over and over again. If you ask about something with curiosity and not conclusions, but you truly ask, were you upset with me or what was happening there? And you get anything but participation. If you get pushback, aggression, blame, that person is not safe for intimacy. And it's the one and only time the angels say it's grounds for instant letting go, breaking up. Anything else, they come to you crying that they cheated on you. I've been blown away that the guidance is like, you can work through a lot of things, but if you say, is this happening? And someone's like, I don't want to talk about it. No, nothing's happening. That's all you. They are not safe for intimacy, and it's grounds for immediate breakup. You can say, it's just, you'll be staying in unsafe intimacy. So that's what I've been witness to in terms of guidance. I watched it play out with a lot of people. My clients are all repeat. I get to see for years how things all play out, which is incredible. Very few are just one time. But maybe it'll be like once every couple years, like, or a couple times a year, or etc. But I do get to see the results of these